Hello everyone, Aaron Farmer here with my sugar-free journey, and here is day 23 of the 28-day sugar-free challenge. I'm sorry that I'm going to be dumping a lot of these videos on you today because I did not have a voice for 3 days, so I couldn't record any new videos, so I apologize. But we're going to get it all done today so that you have access to all of the notes, because if you're watching this on Sunday when this video goes live, tonight is the last day of the 28-day challenge. So come on over there and join us, and we're going to be talking about what we've done so far. So day 23, we're going to talk about what artificial sweeteners are best. So one of the most common questions I get asked when I explain how and why I eat this way is, what artificial sweeteners should I use, or what sweeteners should I use in general? And the answer to this could not be easier, because the answer is none of them. Once you start removing sugar from your diet, you're going to find that that your sweet tooth becomes less and less important, and you're going to want less and less sweet in your foods and drinks. However, you may not be there yet, and just kind of set that as a goal to work towards. But if you're not there yet, that's fine. As that sweet tooth becomes less and less important, that's a good thing, and it's something you should really watch out for as you continue along your sugar-free journey. However, you're probably still going to want an occasional dessert or a sweetened drink. So here's what you need to know about the different sweeteners. Number one, let's go through the natural sweeteners. Stevia. So stevia is an herb. It's commonly known as sugar leaf, and it's only been approved for use here in the last few years. That's why you didn't see it when you were a kid. It's just now showing up on the shelves. From all reports, there are very few side effects. And as a personal note, stevia has become my sweetener of choice. Watch out for the powdered varieties because they are typically mixed with maltodextrin. Stevia is bound to maltodextrin, which can cause an insulin reaction because it is a sugar. So if you can get the liquid stevia, that works fine. In fact, most grocery stores now will sell a little, it's about that big, it's liquid stevia, little shooter basically, and it's liquid stevia mixed with erythritol. Works great. I love it. That's the one that I use, and if you're going to use a sweetener, that's probably the one that I would recommend. Another one is Inulin. It's derived from a chicory root. It has a very natural taste, very close to sugar. It's not insulin, it's Inulin. So just be careful that you don't confuse those two. It can caramelize like sugar. It has very little aftertaste. Some will mix it with a sugar alcohol to make it a little sweeter, so less is needed. Some studies suggest that we can absorb a small amount, so it may cause a small insulin reaction, but nothing is conclusive, and it appears to be pretty safe. Another one is monk fruit. This is also called, and I'm going to butcher this name, Luo Han Guo. No way that's how it's pronounced. It's native to China. It's been used as an herbal remedy for obesity for thousands of years. The biggest drawback is it is very expensive compared to other sweeteners, but it has no gastrointestinal drawbacks. It doesn't appear to cause any kind of an insulin reaction. So if you can afford it and you like the taste, you can use monk fruit. So all three of those natural sweeteners, stevia, inulin, and monk fruit, are pretty good to use. Next up, sugar alcohols. First off is erythritol. Erythritol, it's a great sweetener. It can be used as a one-to-one replacement for sugar. It can cause some intestinal distress when consumed in large amounts, but your body doesn't absorb it. That's why it causes intestinal distress. It just flows right through you. It is secreted in the urine, so most of it never even makes it to the intestines. It is an excellent alternative to sugar as long as you don't use it in large amounts. And like I said with the stevia, the stevia blend that I use is stevia blended with erythritol, and I don't have any. To be honest, I don't use very much. I just sweeten my tea with it at night. But it's a fantastic sweetener, and it works great. Xylitol. Xylitol causes a very small insulin reaction and intestinal distress when consumed in large amounts, but many people prefer it because the taste is very, very close to sugar. In fact, my wife is very picky about her sweeteners. She just, there's just some sweeteners she will not use, especially in her coffee, because a lot of these sweeteners, when you heat it up, put it in a hot drink, it changes the taste so much that some people won't like it. And that's my wife. She's very picky about the sweeteners that she uses, especially in her coffee. Xylitol is her sweetener of choice. She buys Xylo Sweet is the brand name. So that's the one that she used. So if you've had a hard time finding a sugar substitute for your coffee or for another hot drink, maybe hot tea or whatever, you might try the xylitol and see if you like it. Next up is Multitool, most commonly used sugar alcohol because it is very similar in taste to sugar and it is very cheap. It will cause more of an insulin reaction than the other alcohol, so it's better to avoid it. And it will cause quite the intestinal distress if you eat it in large amounts. So if memory serves, it's Multitool that is the sweetener of choice in those Haribo, sugar-free gummy bears. And if you want a good laugh, go look up Haribo sugar-free gummy bears at Amazon and read the reviews and read about the intestinal distress that it causes people in large amounts. It'll make you laugh. Next up is synthetic sweeteners. First is sucralose. Recent studies suggest that when it is used in powdered form, so sucralose is the yellow stuff, it's Splenda. When it's used in powder form, it may cause a larger insulin reaction than sugar, which means you should probably avoid it. Don't use a whole lot of Splenda in your drinks. If you can find it in liquid form, it is 600 times sweeter than sugar and does not appear to cause an insulin reaction at all. I'm not exactly sure why the powdered form would cause more of an insulin reaction than the liquid form, other than maybe the powdered form is mixed with some like maltodextrin or some kind of sugar, bound with some kind of sugar in order to make it work, or maybe there's some reaction when the sucralose is bound to the powdered carrier. I don't know why, but those yellow packets, if you're looking to keep your insulin levels as low as possible, I wouldn't use the yellow, the sucralose or the Splenda. Aspartame is the most controversial sugar substitute, as it has been linked to a whole host of neurological problems. So aspartame is the blue stuff; it's equal. If even 10% of what is being said about aspartame is true, I would avoid it like the plague. And again, I'm not an expert. I've used Equal for years and I've never had any problems, any headaches, but I've heard from several doctors that when somebody comes into their clinic, whatever, and they've got some weird neurological issues that they can't track down, usually the first thing that they'll do is they'll tell them to eliminate all sugar substitutes for a short time, but especially the aspartame. And it said there's about a 30% success rate in clearing up those neurological issues once they get them off the aspartame. So take that with a grain of sugar, I guess, for what it's worth. But aspartame, the blue stuff, may not be the safest sugar substitute. Next up is Saccharine. The first synthetic sweetener. Saccharine is the pink stuff, sweet and low. It's been in use for about 150 years. Appears to be relatively safe. It doesn't cause an insulin reaction. So if you're looking to use an artificial sweetener, Saccharine, the pink stuff seems to be relatively safe. There's not a whole lot online about problems with Saccharine. Now there is some evidence that Saccharine can break down into a formaldehyde and cause some issues, but you have to heat it up and you have to consume it in large quantities for that to happen. And most of people aren't eating that much, so it does appear to be safe. And next up, actually the last one we're going to talk about is I'm going to pronounce this wrong too, sulfamate potassium, or ACE-K. So you'll never buy ACE-K for home use, but the reason why I mention it here is because it's very widely used in diet soft drinks. It does cause a small insulin reaction, which might be the reason why it is so difficult to lose weight while drinking diet soft drinks. So I know Diet Dr. Pepper is one of the few diet soft drinks that does not use ACE-K, but and actually I think Diet Coke doesn't either, but Coke Zero does, that's my drug of choice is Coke Zero. So it does cause a little bit of an insulin reaction, so you might just look in the ingredients and avoid soft drinks that use the ACE-K. But if you're avoiding all other types of sugar and you have the occasional diet soft drink, well, it's probably not going to hurt you too much. All right. So I appreciate you guys watching. Come on over to join us on the 28-day challenge group, mysugarfreejourney.com/28day. We'd love to have you over there, and we'll look forward to talking to you in a little bit. Bye-bye.